With Eric Gordon and Chris Paul out, it was clear the Rockets were undermanned and had no chance against the Warriors at home. And that's how the game played out until the guy with the longest beard in the gym decided to go absolutely nuclear. In case you were unaware, James Tiberius Harden is on one of the greatest 11-game stretches a player in the NBA has ever had, averaging 41.1 points, 7.1 rebounds, 9.5 assists, 2.1 steals, and scorching the Nets for 41% from behind the arc. And who knew early in the third quarter, when this free throw gave Golden State a 20-point lead, that this game would be anything but your typical Thursday night TNT blowout. But that's when James Harden went to work, scoring 13 points and getting 6 assists in the third period alone. While Harden struggled to be effective in the first half, he got things going with his passing to start the quarter. On this inside pick and roll, watch how Bell is late getting into position, has to run, and then is easily crossed by Harden. Once he gets into the middle, forget about it. Draymond is forced to rotate over, Curry is supposed to split the difference between the two weak side players, then close out to the pass. He doesn't do this, and Tucker gets a wide open three. A simple spread pick and roll out top gets Capella a slip to the hoop. Draymond didn't want to leave Tucker, and no one is there to rotate and protect the rim. A simple pitch to pick forced the switch, and it was fitting that it all started with Harden's patented step-back three-pointer, which doesn't seem to get in much space, but it doesn't matter at all. Austin Rivers has never shot this well from three in his career, so you can't leave him alone behind the arc. But watch Curry not recognize where his man is, opting to pick up Capella, which of course leaves Bell pretty damned confused. This pick and roll was well defended until Bell is late getting into ice position. As Klay forces him away from the screen, Bell needs to be on the line of deployment between the ball and the basket. This forces the lowest man to fully rotate, and give credit to Capella for handling this lob and getting it into the basket. The lead was still double digits when Harden got Curry to switch on to him. Curry was in good position defensively until Harden slammed on the brakes, let him fly by, and pulled up for the easy 14-footer. Down double digits again, the pick and roll doesn't give the Rockets a mismatch, as Draymond is as good as any forward defending a guard on the perimeter. Hard to believe simple exchange on the weak side could confuse the defense this much, but Klay doesn't know what's going on, and a simple skip pass gets Gerald Green a wide open look. If you were wondering why the Rockets couldn't make a dent in the deficit during the third quarter, you only need to look at Steph Curry, who lit them up for 13 points of his own during the stretch on an assortment of pull-ups from mid-range, cuts to the hoop, and of course, shaking free of the defense for this three-pointer, but then taking advantage of the man down for the Rockets when they inexplicably do not take a foul and give them a 5-on-4 advantage. At this point, Harden felt it was time to take matters into his own hands, so a straight ISO on their best perimeter defender gets him another step back to his right. Klay contests well, but again, it does not matter. He wasn't done yet in this quarter. What makes Harden so impossible is his passing ability and vision. Check the gorgeous dime to thread this in there for a layup, and finally the Rockets are making some headway. Down 9, Klay should have known they'd be looking for a 2-for-1 at the end of the quarter, but isn't in great position. Harden hits him with a jab-step crossover, then rises up to nail yet another three. This became like a prize fight between two champions the entire fourth quarter, as the Warriors couldn't shake free and the Rockets wouldn't let go. With a spread pick and roll and shooters on both sides, it spreads the defense out wide, and when Livingston was caught unprepared for the quick ball screen, he's out of position on the switch, and there was nothing a help defender like Klay could do on a perfect lob like this anyway. We got a crazy sequence where you could tell every player was in it like a playoff game. Durant goes hard to the hole, he's stripped, then Looney is blocked from behind by Harden, and here's where the Rockets had their first chance to take the lead. They catch the defense behind a step for an open corner three. Capella is in perfect position for the rebound, who kicks it out for another wide open corner three, but they can't get it to fall. And then they find Harden out top for a chance to do his dance into the step back, but he can't get it to go. And if you don't capitalize on the Warriors, they'll make you pay, as Klay comes right down, bumps his man with his shoulder, and turns it into a little 15-foot shot on the baseline for a 3-point lead. Again, the quick pick and roll for the Rockets killed the Warriors all night, as Capella screens and Durant doesn't switch this quickly enough. The weak side help isn't in position yet. Gorgeous pocket pass by Harden, and Capella knows what to do with it down there. With Harden unable to convert under great pressure from Draymond, Durant says enough is enough and just goes straight to the hoop. That said, I'm dubious about this type of call, which we've seen superstars get often, but it looks to me like KD is simply lowering his shoulder and initiating all of the contact. Tucker should have the right to his position on the court, yet it gave them 2 free throws and a 4-point lead. But KD was frustrating all night, opting to isolate instead of run the offense and look for a good shot. Up 4 with a chance to put a nail in the coffin, he decides to take an early contested 6-dribble ISO pull-up from 3 feet behind the line and 15 seconds on the clock. But he redeems himself with a hard-fought post-up on the left block as he turns over his right shoulder for a tough fadeaway, and this should be it, folks. And when this wild shot by Harden doesn't go down, it was just a matter of playing out the clock and the Warriors would get the win. But someone explained to me this shot. Up by 6, 15 seconds on the shot clock, 1 minute 10 left in the game, the defender in good position, and KD takes this? It's just about the only way to ensure the Rockets have a chance. And it leads directly to catching the defense out of position, fantastic lead pass to Capella by Harden, and not only does he get the layup, but KD fouls him too. I mean, can you hear me shaking my head? Ironically, it's Curry who takes almost the same shot KD just did. Granted, it was a little more open and he's a much better shooter, but you had better make it. Another 2-for-1 situation for the Rockets. Iguodala wanted to guard Harden, but KD waves him off, then gets in a bad stance with his arm up like this, making him a lot slower to react and challenge. And of course, Harden just nails his clutch step back from 4 feet behind the arc, and now the game is tied. I am stunned. Good job by the Warriors to force a switch on the Curry-KD pick and roll. Credit Austin Rivers for fighting for his life down there, and Durant misses a tough fadeaway. The Warriors were probably soiling their pants at the prospect of Harden having the last shot, but it was a little inexplicable that this was the shot they get for the win. Not a good one, but hey, we all win with 5 extra minutes of this extraordinary game. Considering the position the Warriors were in, it had to be demoralizing to know they needed to go to overtime at home against a shorthanded Rockets team. While Harden only had 5 points in the fourth quarter, he was going to make sure he put his stamp on the overtime. Isolating on their second-best perimeter defender, he gets contact on the drive, slams on the brakes, leaves Iggy flailing, and steps back into another 3-point dream killer. Clinging to a 1-point lead, the defense picked up its pressure, and Steph Curry steps in front, is there with plenty of time, takes the contact, and gets the charge, giving the Warriors a chance to retake the lead. The Rockets didn't follow the blueprint we've seen teams use recently of totally ignoring Iguodala and Draymond Green. And this time, when Capella should have been the help and invited a shot from the outside by Green, it's Tucker who steps over to stop the penetration, and it gets him out of position to handle the dribble handoff. And KD gets a wide-open 18-footer to drop. And when the Rockets don't get it to Harden and Rivers throws up a runner over Draymond that misses, watch how quickly the Warriors turn this into a corner 3 for Curry. Holy moly. And there wasn't much Houston could have done to stop it. Down 4 and desperate for a bucket, they inbound to Harden in the right corner for the rare step back so close to the sideline. He gets it off, hits KD in the face, and still knocks down the triple to cut the lead to 1. This game is officially bonkers. While Austin Rivers went back and forth being really not so good and really good, here's a pick and pop that drew both defenders to Harden. And I can't blame the Warriors for saying prove it, but prove it he did in a big way. The Warriors run their usual sideline out of bounds play that calls for Curry to backscreen Durant. and he gets a step. No one in the world is going to block this, and it's another tie game. The Rockets try every iteration of their offense to find an advantage, each one thwarted well by the Warriors' intense defense. And this leaves him little choice but to isolate on Klay, who defends this step back perfectly, then gets out on the break, attacks one-on-one, and hits the beauty of an off-foot lefty layup for the 2-point lead, and this game is over, right? With not a lot of time left and a prime 2-for-1, Harden goes straight to the rack, draws contact, and somehow Draymond doesn't get a technical for carrying on in such a demonstrative fashion. Did he have an argument? Yeah, kinda. Harden does extend his off arm into the body of Green, and while it didn't have to be an offensive foul call, a no call would have probably been the best choice. Now here's where the game went completely off the rails. The Warriors are now in a 2-for-1 situation and turn to a quick KD attack off the dribble. Check Harden sneaking in from behind to knock the ball away. In the scramble, you're not going to believe how KD was able to save this back in bounds. And equally improbable was how the ball found its way to Steph Curry for what appeared to be the dagger from 20 feet. But the reason you won't be able to believe it is because KD saved this ball with both feet out of bounds right in front of the referee, and yet no one seemed to see it or call it. This can easily go down as the worst blown call in the history of regular season NBA games. And Rockets fans were despondent over the prospect of losing the game like this. Down 2 with 5.5 seconds left, there was still enough time to get a shot off, and I really like what the Rockets ran. They put Harden deep in the backcourt, but only to get him going quick as Tucker set a back screen for him. It doesn't really work because the Warriors simply switch it, but he got room for the catch, went into his dance, watched Draymond take one step in the wrong direction to his right, and that was all the space Harden needed coming off the ball screen to rise up, release the ball, get hit just after the ball got in the air, fall down completely on his butt, and yet the ball still goes in for the win. When the Warriors miss a narrow window to find Klay open, KD has to toss it up, can't hit it, and that, sports fans, was easily the most thrilling regular season game we've had in years. James Harden is on a mission to single-handedly carry this Rockets team on his back with a ridiculous display of skill very few players have ever displayed on the court. You may not like all the fouls he draws, and that's for another video coming up very soon, but there is no denying this is a guy who has firmly put himself in the lead for the MVP race, leading the Rockets from the brink of missing the playoffs this year to threatening the top teams in the West. With one nationally televised game, he dropped the gauntlet on the Warriors, who suddenly look very mortal in their quest to win another title. When CP3 gets back in the lineup, we might not see the same outrageous outbursts from Harden like the last 11 games in a row, but they'll be even more powerful and capable of winning the whole thing.